Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Baylor Athletics Hall of Fame, Andrew Melontree.
Well, good evening. I wish I could say I was humble, but I'm not, because in this room I don't think there's anybody in here who's humble. I'm sitting here inhaling all this self-esteem, and I think that I can hold myself away from my narcissistic self until I get out of here, though. But when I get back to Oklahoma, it's going to be on. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, I look out over this crowd, and I'm really impressed with myself to the fact that I have some very valuable people in my life that decide to say, hey, look, Tree, we can come up and we can see you. And that little baby crying over there is one of them. I tell you what, at this time, I'd like to introduce my family to you. Starting with my beautiful wife here, who gave me a great thrill going to TJC. As soon as I saw her with a boyfriend, I knew I had to have her. And I tell you what, I've seen these great athletes stand here and they talk about the people in their lives, and I like to dedicate my opportunity to all the teachers. The teachers, I came up with teachers and coaches. I have my coach here as well as a teacher here, and I have another coach who's represented by his son, and that one told me I could play, and then I have another one, Mr. Darwin Hooker, who told me why I should play. He told me how. I've had a great thrill thinking about Baylor University ever since I was 14 years old. My father left my family and went and sought his desire to be an attorney. So he was in and out. On the weekends, he'd come on, and he'd ask me, Andrew, what's going on in your life right now? I said, Dad, I met this guy by the name of Coach Hooker. And I said, he's a no-nonsense guy. I said, he doesn't laugh and talk and whatnot. He sits down, spits tobacco, wipes it on his hands, and then he looks at you and tells you, what you thinking about right now, Tree? I said, well, nothing. He said, well, you know something? I said, we're going up on the hill. I had a friend by the name of Kerry Cicero. When he said you're going up on the hill, that means you're going against Earl Campbell and about 3 other guys just like him as dummy athletes. But that's what we did. And from that, I kept watching him. He never wore tennis shoes. He always dressed sharp. He married a beautiful woman. And then he said something to me one time. He said, Tree, I'm going to tell you something. You might not know what you're doing right now, but you keep hustling, and by the time you find out, you'll be there. Ladies and gentlemen, I just finished a career with Goodyear. I went 34 years, and I never missed a day in 34 years. That 34 years, I had him in my head telling me, just keep going. Just keep going, Chiefs, keep going. And as God is my witness, when I got tired, I retired last Thursday. Baylor University, as I said, I was only here 2 years. We went to the Peach Bowl and we clobbered Clemson. We did. They couldn't do anything against our defense. Our offense, I heard a guy say, I'm glad I'm off the field, Tree. I said, why? Just so we can watch you. Right now, over my friendship here right now, I have a 2-time All-American linebacker by the name of Doak Shields, who engineered a great defense. And then sitting right next to him is a Baylor Hall of Famer, Gary Don Johnson, who took one side of the line all the way down. My job was real easy. And I'll tell you what I was thoroughly impressed by. Not only could these guys play football, but they were wonderful, not good, but they were wonderful student athletes. Every evening, on Sunday evening, prior to me coming to Baylor University, I watched the Grant Taft show. Each time Grant Taft would put his hand, Coach Grant Taft would put his hand on that helmet and said, it takes a special kind of person to come here. With my own eyes, I saw a person who came there a year after me by the name of Jerry Paul Johnson, who was Gary Don's brother, and I watched him become a student athlete. So it wasn't all about athletics, because of the fact that being athletic really was impressive at Baylor. Because why? You know what? Because they recruited the best. They recruited the best. My players that I watch as athletes with talent were people like this man sitting right here next to me, Walter Abercrombie. Then you had a guy like Dennis Gentry. These guys played 7, 8, 9 years in the pros. What I learned at Baylor University was that the fact that until you find out what you're doing, you stay in a good crowd. That's how you watch the people that you associate with. So During my time there, I said I grew up very quick. At the end of the Peach Bowl game, I walked downtown Atlanta all by myself. I saw all my teammates that never saw me after the game. I sat down on the curb and I was crying because I knew it was over. It was over. I said, it's the last year. Going to the pros, y'all, I was hoping I'd go, and I did. I went. And I'm going to tell you something. While I was sitting on that curb, I got tapped on the shoulder. I was right around the corner from the stadium. I wasn't too far. And I looked up, and he said, "Say, what's wrong?" I said, "Nothing, sir." I tell you who it was. It was Hank Aaron. I had met Hank Aaron earlier that day because his wife, and my mother had gone to school together. So he knew who I was, and he took it on himself. He walked down. He said, "So what's the problem?" I said, "Have you ever had something so good, and when it's over with, you just can't stand yourself? You go, what else are you going to do?" And then he told me, he said, "Just find something to do." He said, "But whatever you do, you hustle." Then I told him about my Coach Hooker. At this time, I'd like my family to stand and take a bow because you've been great in my life. And family and friends. Family and friends. Thank you. Okay. Just to prove that the pole vaulter was absolutely correct, I had mine too. I chose not to go there. Ladies and gentlemen, because of Baylor University, I had a lot of great opportunities in my life. And the football team, my football team was a microcosm of life. Whenever I got weak, I thought about people. I thought about people when I was finishing up my degree. I thought about people that I had seen go to class and seen toil in the library and seen come back and be successful. I thought about those individuals. I thought about individuals that I work with and passionate about how they were about their job. I have two individuals here tonight that are my coworkers. I have coworkers here that drove all the way down from Lawton, Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about 570 miles round trip. No, it's not. It's 420 miles one way, and they came in to be with us tonight. I have a baby sister sitting out there, Attorney Beverly Melontree. I said, I watch her toil through the night on those books. And every time I looked at her, I said, "Oh, you're going to make it. Just keep hustling." And while I sit up here right now, my esteem hasn't grown because of the fact that you've named me a Hall of Famer. My esteem has grown because of the panel up here that I'm sitting amongst. I said, wow. I said, I'm part of this. And I said, I'm going to get a chance to get up there and tell somebody about it. And I thank you so very, very, very much. I thank you beyond, well, I'll tell you what, Oklahoma's in trouble.